Hello, magical people, and welcome back to the Meg Moonbeam and Sunny from Pluto YouTube and Rumble channels. My name is Meg Moonbeam, and I'm here with Sunny and Tamara to talk about a very special subject, the secret of crystal skulls. How's it going, ladies?
I'm good. How are you?
It's doing pretty good. The beginning of the Scorpio season's been a little bit rough and kind of a little bit crazy, but it's been good. How about you?
Oh my God, it's so funny that you're saying that, Tamara, because I've been feeling the same, and I haven't spoken to Sunny live in like a few days or a week. I'm not sure exactly how long, but I've been really feeling that. And we're three Scorpios here in today's video.
Hmm.
So I'm so excited. Been feeling the same. It's been quite intense. Sunny, have you been noticing that, or how have you been
Yeah.
feeling lately?
Yeah. It's so funny. I'm like, I'm good. How are you? But literally having like a panic attack. It's like,
It's just like the automatic muscle memory response that you
yeah.
give, right?
Well,
Yeah.
it's also just normal as a Scorpio. It's like I don't fucking know. Like, what else do I know? Yeah, had a total freak out the other day and was like completely freaking out,
Oh
like
my gosh.
hyperventilating and like having a panic attack and like screaming and crying. But yeah.
Ah,
Oh my God. Did that just like come out of nowhere for you, or did something trigger that?
Well, I'm PMSing and I have a condition called PMDD. So it's like PMS times 1,000 for women. And it's I just found out recently that it's not normal. All the PMS symptoms that I'm having are not
Mhm.
normal for most women. And yeah, like certain triggers like on social media, like comparing myself, and then like that kind of just trickled into like self-deprecating thoughts, and then you get like the panic attacks and stuff like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really, really intense.
Yeah, it sucks.
thank goodness. That's a roller coaster. Holy moly.
Yeah, I put out a reel the other day, like Scorpio season 2025, but also like put a little PSA in there. Like, if you're a Scorpio, you need to be really mindful right now, sun, moon, and risings, because in the Western astrology, we've got Pluto, our modern ruler, right at the bottom of our charts on the IC at the start of our fourth house. So it's like emotional volatility, extremes, really uncomfortable stuff like coming up from the past can be a big theme, or having to do with our family, letting go
My
of
God.
familial.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely that. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is part of, I love this because this is part of what is so triggering for people about Scorpios, Scorpio season. Also, skulls ruled by
Mhm.
Scorpio in astrology is that death, rebirth, transformation, shadow work theme.
Yes, especially right around now, we're dealing with, like you mentioned, with the past. And for me, a lot has been coming up with like my ancestors on my maternal line. It's been a lot of like healing, crying, lots of crazy things to move through. There's been times at the beginning of this season where I just felt like it felt almost like you're just like in this weird thick fog, almost like you're kind of high. It's like it's crazy. And skulls, they help you work through that. Like they help you go to your ancestral line. They're it's really interesting because some people have apprehension with skulls,
Hmm.
and
Mhm.
it's interesting because they're just a reflection of you because we have a skull, like they're inside of us. They're right there in front of us, and that's what's so powerful, is that skulls are basically the earth meeting us halfway, right?
Hmm.
Because we need to like to connect to the earth. Like it's so powerful. It's she's our mother. Like I'm an animist at heart. Like I believe in like everything has a soul, the stones, the trees, everything like that. And I feel like the root of healing, especially in this experience as a human being in this lifetime, is to reconnect with our mother and like reestablish that connection and heal how we view ourselves. Because I feel like humans, they always tend to poo poo on themselves. Like, oh, humans are so terrible for this planet. Humans are just one big toxic heap. They're not good for anything. Humans are terrible. But people really need to get out of that mindset. If we're all going to lift up as a species, we need to vibrate higher. We need to believe in better potential for ourselves. And crystal skulls can help us facilitate that because it's the earth meeting us halfway. It helps us connect so much easier. So, yeah.
That is so powerful, Tamara. And I remember the first time I think both Sunny and I ever met you. Sunny, wasn't it the first time together we walked into, I'm having a brain fart. What was it called in Brampton? That
Breakthrough
spiritual,
Center.
the Breakthrough Center. Oh my God. Sorry for
Oh,
forgetting the name. Sunny and I, we used to do sound bliss, sound healing meditations out of there. And Tamara, you were working there. And I remember the first time we met, you took out like your skulls, and all of a sudden you were like, "Hey, you were so nice. You're like, "Hey, you want to check out my crystal skulls?" I'm like, "Whoa, this girl is cool."
Yeah, I was offering crystal skull healings at the time. It was a good time. I liked it. People were actually a lot more receptive than I thought they would be. Like I had this one dad of like a football player son, and he was just so stressed out for his son. It was so cute. I loved it.
That's
And
cool.
so you still do crystal skull healings, or that's something that you used to do? Are you taking a break from it?
I used to do it back when I lived in the city, because like right now I live literally in the middle of the forest. If I get the opportunity to be able to offer that for people again, I would be more than happy to, because like I feel like crystal skulls help facilitate like claircognizance. Like it helps you just like know things. Like it's really interesting. Like to receive DNA downloads and things like that you just need to know at the right time. It like helps you with that. Like I can't tell you how many times I've held a crystal skull and I've been like I've completely been absent-minded about it. Like I even forgot I had it in my hiking pack. And it would just I would be led onto these really strange paths. I would like find really weird hidden places in the woods. I would be led to this like I one time was led to a big quartz rock formation in the woods, and I was like led to do an activation. And the like crystal skulls will put you on an adventure and a journey. And I want everyone to experience that. I want everyone, because in our hearts, sure, crystal skulls facilitate that for us, but that is who we are. Like we have the skull. Like that is our, it's the earth telling us this is who we are. Like we
Mhm.
need to go around, activate, build community, raise the consciousness. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Sunny, before we met Tamara, were you into crystal skulls already? How did you get into the crystal skulls?
Actually, Tamara gave me my first crystal skull when I met her. Um, yeah, she gave me a sulfur skull because she knew that somehow she asked me if I was Sicilian, and I was just like, yes. And she gave me a sulfur skull, which is uh makes sense because my great grandfather was a sulfur miner in I know it's kind of dark, but in Agrigento. But yeah, and then the crystal skull revealed his name was Alfonso, which is interesting. But Alfonso is downstairs right now. I did not grab him for today's video, but I still have him and I love him. And it's funny that store that we met at the Breakthrough Center was also owned by a Scorpio.
That's
It's just like
right.
That's right.
Scorpio
Yeah.
all around. And I want to touch on too, like what Tamara is talking about with the skulls and the consciousness and being able to connect better. Yeah, so skulls are just like representation of humans, of ourselves, and of our ancestors, and of our family, and of future kin. And it's easier, what Tamara is saying, it's easier to connect and to the earth and to the subtle energies around you because crystals are pristine objects that are vibrating at a higher frequency. And
Mm,
humans, we have water in us, we have different thoughts and forms, and there's like all different types of vibrations and ideas and opinions coming at us from every angle that we can kind of get skewed off path. So it's really cool that Tamara is saying that when she has the crystal skulls on her and she's just like in her own zone and kind of becomes unconscious of the crystal skull being there. It's like subconscious. It just leads her to the right place because it's a crystal and it's a skull,
Yeah.
which is a symbol of our consciousness, a higher consciousness, our, like she said, claircognizance. So it makes sense. And crystals, a lot of people um put a lot of like rules on like how crystals work, or they're not sure if it's working. But like I said, like, and what Tamara said too, like everything has its own vibration, everything is vibrating on its own frequency constantly, that with crystals you don't really have to think about it. You can tune into it. Like if you're a
mhm.
crystal listener like us through, you can tune into it and understand what the crystal is teaching you, or notice patterns or ideas that are coming into your head, or experiences that you're having with the crystal. But you know, necessarily, if you don't have those experiences or you don't know how to tune into that, it doesn't mean that the crystal isn't working, and it doesn't mean that it's not like teaching you something. Like you don't have to know exactly what's going on for the crystal to be working. Basically, it's like setting an intention. If you set that intention, like that, it's energy, so it's already out there and it's already doing its thing and it's unfolding as
Right.
it's supposed to.
Yeah.
I would love to bounce off of that, how you're mentioning about vibration. It's that vibration creates form. Like, have you ever watched a frog in a pond like make a lot of noise? You could see, or like when you ring a crystal singing bowl and you put water in it and you could see the shapes and the form of sound.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is that, right? So when a crystal grows, it's just the form of a crystal, right? And it's easy to connect, but it's more abstract. Like you can hear tones. It's more like it's very like all encompassing, almost like omnipresent, right? But when you put it into a tool, like for example, a pyramid or a square or like a Merkaba or even a Vogel, many people talk about Vogels in this case. It just like fine tunes that frequency to get to like the vibration you want. And that's what I meant by the earth meeting you halfway, because
Mm.
instead of focusing so much of your energy in order to see yourself in the crystal, because the higher consciousness, it allows you to see yourself in literally all beings, in the blade of grass, in the everything, right? The crystal skull allows you to see yourself in the earth. It puts personhood onto the earth, and it deepens your relationship that way. And because it's crystal, when you see yourself like as part of that, you can connect to the, you know, to the ground. And all of our ancestors, everyone who's ever been, how that occurred to create you, there's been like tens of thousands of people that have walked this earth for you to have existed. And you can connect to that by connecting, like by seeing yourself as the earth, by like connecting to that personhood. You can go like way back into your ancestral lines and like do a lot of healing, a lot of deep work and stuff. That's what I've been doing lately, especially like during this season. It's been insane. It's amazing.
Wow, that's so cool. And I know there's many people that they're drawn to working with the skulls, but like we kind of touched on when we got started, a lot of people can get freaked out right away by it because it's a skull. And of course, we associate skulls with death and decay and endings. But at the same time, when we're alive, like you guys are saying, the entire time we have a skull that is supporting us, it's supporting us this entire time. It's holding our brain, it's holding our third eye, our crown chakra. Like it's a very sacred
It's holding
part.
space. It's holding space.
Space, literally, right?
It's holding the universe, literally.
Yeah.
Literally. Yeah.
Like literally, man.
What would you guys recommend, like for people first starting to get into working with crystal skulls that have never worked with a crystal skull? Were you guided by the skulls? I feel like when I first started working with the skulls, it was something that it felt very intense for me and very deep, where I felt to meditate with them or sleep with them. But for me, it's like a very strong presence compared to a lot of the other crystal types or formations. Do you guys feel the same thing? And what would you recommend for people just starting with them?
So for me, it was very much a very organic experience. Like I knew nothing about crystal skulls. It was just a regular day after work. I was walking down the street, and for some reason, I'm like, "Oh, I want to take this way today." Like for some reason, oh, and I went and I found this like little hole in the wall shop called White Flame in Hamilton. I don't know if it's still there. So this was like, I'm not even kidding. This was 11 years ago. So. And I walked into the store, and that's where I saw Alfonso. And like how he ended up all the way into like Sunny's hands has me believing that they kind of have like a mind of their own, right? So you don't have to really worry too much. You don't have to put too much work into connecting with the skull because it's in the human shape. It's almost like it's doing half of the work. It's connecting with you. It'll tell you what you need to do together, right? You can start by just sitting in silence, like letting yourself be. Don't focus too hard on the skull and think about, hey, I would like to connect with you. I want to connect with the earth through you. What is your name? Right? Because like knowing somebody's name is like it deepens that connection, right? And they say if you spend 7 minutes every day talking to something or being with something, you build a habit, like a relationship really strong, like really quickly. So just spending time, and eventually that it gets deeper. The skull will lead you places. Like just let your mind be. And if you get that like that strange little gut feeling, like trust your gut. Like that little, oh, I kind of feel like doing this with the skull. Don't question it. Just do it. You know, so long as you're not like, you know, doing anything, you know, crazy. But so yeah, it kind of like it'll work with you. Don't worry too much. Don't think too hard about it.
I love that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Sunny, anything to add?
Yeah, well, Tamara taught me about the name thing and like that crystal skulls can either like house or be a representation of like an ancestor or like a spirit guide. And yeah, Alfonso came to me, but then I got another crystal skull. Frank, he's downstairs. I should have grabbed him. Everybody loves Frank. where I was like, okay, tell me, I want to know what your name is. It's a yellow jasper skull. He's like a big yellow jasper skull. And I put him on my bedside table and I said, I would like to know your name. And so I went to bed and I was having a dream. And then my dream just like kind of stopped, like when you pause a movie and like it was the next like slide over. And then I'm just sitting at a picnic table with Frank, like in a field. And I'm like, okay, what's going on? And then he was just like, yeah, my name's Frank. And then just started laughing and like chattering his teeth. And I was just like, Frank. I'm like, that's your name? Your name's Frank? And he's like, yeah, why wouldn't it be? And he's like, "Ah, ah, 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 ah," like laughing like that. So I'm like, okay, thank you. And then like it went back to like my previous dream, like continued. Like press play on my head. I'm like, okay, what the fuck?
What?
Just here to interrupt, by the way, since you were asking.
Yeah. And when I woke up, I just like looked at him. I'm like, okay, cool, thank you. And he's yellow, so it's like the color, it's a one of the colors of the sun, and yellow's a very like jovial and happy color, and it makes sense that he was laughing and he has a huge smile on his face. And I realized that, yeah, he's here to help with the humor, here to help with levity, here to help, with like being social and bringing people together and family. And again, Frank, I'm associating with the name Francesco, which is Italian. So I got 2 Italian men with me now. And he's been to parties. Like he ends up with like hot sauce or like barbecue sauce on his face. He gets the olives or onions, those little Cipollini cocktail onions in his eyes. He's the life of the party. I love Frank.
Oh my God.
I've had lots of like really interesting experiences with the crystal skulls, like telling me their names. Again, do you want me to keep going or?
Yeah, keep going.
Okay. Well, I have this one here. This one's a little girl. I've been noticing that I really like little crystal skulls, I guess, because you can like carry them around easier.
Yeah.
So I was going to a crystal supplier, and in the morning for some reason I just had this urge to be like to get a rose quartz crystal skull. And I had something to do with self-love, and my experiences with rose quartz when I was a teenager was like feeling very good about myself and actually seeing that reflecting on how people used to react to me, because there was a time where I would be literally wearing rose quartz every day, and like I don't want to toot my own horn or anything, but I was looking really good and like all the guys liked me. Sorry, but it was true. I was like 18, I was like 17 or 18 wearing rose quartz every day, and it was like nuts. But anyway, so I hadn't worked with rose quartz in so long, because rose quartz is like kind of a beginner stone, and not that it's not like a powerful stone to work with, but it was just I'm a crystal healer, so I'm learning more about the crystals, and it's just a stone that I didn't work with for a long time. But anyways, I wanted to just randomly get a rose quartz skull. I'm like, I need a small tiny rose quartz skull. I don't know why. So they had one, and I was like, okay, interesting, they had one, I'll buy it. And then later on I went for a hike, and I had this skull in my bra, and I kept hearing as I was walking through the woods, like Agatha. And I'm like, what the hell is Agatha? And I was like, okay, agate or Agatha. And then I'm like, okay, well, probably Agatha is how you would say Agatha in Italian. So then I looked up Agatha, and Saint Agatha came up on Google. The first thing that came up after I searched Agatha, and Saint Agatha is the patron saint of women and women's health and breast cancer and breast health, and she is the patron saint of Sicily.
Whoa.
So I got like all my Sicilian ancestors in these skulls, and I was just like, I didn't even know who Saint Agatha was, because Saint Agatha is from a specific province called Catania, and my family's not from there, so we don't really talk about that. But yeah, and it was interesting when I went to Sicily and I was in Catania, there's like pictures of Saint Agatha like everywhere.
That is so crazy. And both of you, Sunny and Tamara, you're both Sicilian, right?
Yeah.
Is there any evidence, or do you guys have any psychic knowledge of would Sicilians work with crystal skulls, or is this more of a Atlantis, Mayan? I mean, many different cultures had crystal skulls.
I mean, in my opinion, I feel like Sicilians are kind of connected to like Atlantean like type, race vibes, and like there is, at least psychically, there is like evidence from many channelings and like things people have done that suggest that Atlanteans have worked with crystal skulls. So honestly, I wouldn't doubt it that we've probably had like past lives or something like that doing this very thing. So,
well, it's also interesting too, because one of the main symbols of Sicily. They're called testa de moro or testi de moro, and they're literally like people's heads. It's like a black man and a black woman, or a white man and a white woman's head. So I'm like, that could have evolved from a story. It's from a story where this woman literally cut off her lover's head because she was jealous, and buried it in the ground, and then dug it back up and turned it into a vase. So there's like these heads everywhere all over Sicily that are vases. So that's interesting. And also, Aleister Crowley actually had his main home in Sicily, and that's where he developed
Really?
the religion, of Thelema in Sicily. So that's interesting. There's a lot of untapped, well, not untapped, but not really popular in the spiritual community energies that are going on in Sicily that people don't really talk about a lot. Sicily's like a very magical and fertile place, and a lot of Greek mythology actually takes place in Sicily. So
That
yeah.
is wild. Tamara, have you been to Sicily yet in this lifetime?
I have not been to Sicily. I've been to many other places, but not Sicily. It's on the list for sure, though. I want to make sure that I can communicate properly before I actually arrive there because I don't want to make
Right.
a fool of myself with my last name. And
You'll,
like, they're going to be like, okay, so she definitely speaks Italian, right? And I'm like, oh
no, no,
God.
you'll be okay. You'll be okay. You'll be okay.
Yeah.
I have family there waiting for me. They're like, when are you coming? And I'm like, so
Well,
I'm gonna have to
I'm gonna
go.
live there one day, Tamara, so I'm sure we'll be there a lot.
Oh, for sure. Um, but speaking of land, that's another thing about crystal skulls is that you can activate them. So like if let's say like there are crystal skulls that are like ancient, let's say. Some people believe in the 13 crystal skulls and stuff like that.
Right.
I honestly I'm not I'm kind of on and off about it. Like yeah, I believe it, but there's also people I feel like it's been tampered with either to have been covered up like so that not everyone should know about it like so everyone thinks it's a hoax type of vibe. I think that
Mm,
maybe there are 13 and then some individuals might have created some skulls, pretended to have found them, although they are like recently carved just to kind of undermine the whole myth. So, like, you know, that they stay hidden or something like that. You never know. Uh, so basically, yeah, like I want to believe, but that's besides the point. They help. They can either be activated by ancient skulls. So, like, you can get skulls, like, for example, all of my quartz skulls have been activated by an ancient, it's been found in like a Mayan pyramid site that they used to do ceremony for fertility and connecting with the land. And that skull was called Kana Itzim. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but they all were in grid and in ceremony with that skull. So they have imparted that energy. And I understand a lot of people are like, oh yeah, but like there shouldn't be like a hierarchy like activated skulls. Like you can activate them though. Like you don't necessarily need to have them near ancient skulls. You can take them to ley lines, sacred sites. I've brought my skulls to volcanoes. I've like and in this way, you are also waking up the places that you go to. So like that Sunny bringing her sulfur skull to Sicily is
mm.
kind of like her doing that like in like her ancestors are basically like in her body. She's going back to that land. She's like reawakening it, saying to the land, hi, I'm here, I recognize you, I know, like I want to have this like conversation. So like in this way, people traveling around and getting their crystal skulls activated by land points, we're also having this reciprocal exchange with the earth. We are getting activated, and in turn we are activating the earth, telling the earth that we do want to have a relationship with her. Because I feel like in some certain places the land feels almost as if like, oh, like I don't want to open up. Like
Mhm.
I've experienced too much trauma. There's just been too much. I feel like skulls can help kind of like put a foot in the door, like, hey, but I'm here to listen and I want to express gratitude. And when you activate the land in that way, I've noticed that when you bring other people to those points that you've recently been to with crystal skull grids, they're more receptive to the energies of place. It's almost like the place is reaching back, like, okay, yeah, I want to work with you. I want to help you allow like people to realize, like allow people to like, you know, open their eyes a little bit, right? So traveling
Wow.
with crystal skulls is an amazing thing to do.
Do you, when you travel, Tamara, how many skulls do you travel with? Are you like having multiple at the same time, or are you doing one at a time?
Usually I take three. I take my smallest one because this one is like it's been with me for like the longest time,
Aw.
and kind of like how Sunny was talking about how your ancestors can be housed in skulls, like they can act as like psychopomp for your spirit families, like for like a guide or something. There's like this specific one has like a guide in it who is kind of like a I don't know, protector or something, silent warrior type. That's always been there. This is the only one that has that feeling to it, though, that there's like an actual spirit inside of it. The rest of the skulls, though, I bring this one, the biggest one, of course, and and this one, which is like for me, it's the skull of love because I had an incredible realization while swimming with this one. Crazy, crazy stuff. I'll talk about water later with these. Uh, and the nice thing is that if you have a quartz skull, you can only just travel with the one quartz skull, and then when you come home after your travels, you like when you're on your travels, you can put the skull to like watch the spot, the power point you want it to be activated by, and they'll have that exchange. And when you kind of like feel that it's done, you can bring it home and put it in grid with all of your other skulls, and they kind of talk to each other, kind of like exchange that energy of place, so they all kind of like marinate in the in the energy. So it's
Crystal
really nice.
skull marinade sauce.
Mhm. It's really nice. I feel like they're really good facilitators of helping other people open up to alternative energies and being more perceptive to like the gentler things that we cannot see. Like I remember when I first met my husband, I wouldn't say he was against any of the things that I've done, but he just didn't understand. He was very open to it, but he just didn't understand any of it, right?
Yeah.
But after he interacted with crystal, like I gave him a crystal skull, and like I just kind of left it like absent-minded. Like I'm not telling him to do anything with it. It's just there. It kind of like over time, kind of just opened him up. Now he's almost where I'm at. Like it's insane. It's really incredible what they can do.
Whoa.
That's your love language, is giving people crystal skulls.
I guess I don't know. I like opening people up. I like to see people blossom spiritually. It's like my favorite thing to watch that happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever experienced the skulls disappearing in the way that Moldavite does? Because that's something I've
Yes.
really experienced with the skulls. That they just
Yeah.
no idea where it frickin' is. Like I've had that with Moldavite. I don't even know how many times. And then it just pops up on a counter in a drawer, and it's like, I don't think I put that there.
I genuinely think it's because crystals are just like so interdimensional. They're almost like in like a liquid solid state. They're just kind of here and there and not really there, here, there. So like sometimes they can just pop in and out. I feel like when they do that, they're like going off to fix something. You know what I mean? Then they come back. They come back when they need to.
Alfonso's fixing to bring me to Sicily again. I know he's somewhere. I just haven't looked for him. I think last year my mom like put them away with my Halloween decorations, even though they're not Halloween decorations.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can get mixed in there. When you're a witch, our stuff, yeah, that's can get mixed in with the the Halloween box. That's wild. So yeah, the crystal skulls, they have lots of different kind of metaphysical properties. For sure.
Yeah.
Lots of different kind of properties. What are some properties that you guys have experienced with the crystal skulls? I've personally experienced definitely like shadow work with them, really big truths being revealed by having them in my bedroom or in spaces I'm in every day, or meditating, sleeping with them. What have you guys experienced with the skulls in terms of their metaphysical properties?
Well, for me personally, because like I make a lot of plant medicine and personal medicines, like I make a lot of tinctures, salves, balms, all that kind of stuff. I make my own skincare, and a lot of the time when I have crystal skulls present, it's almost like you just immediately know what needs to be done. Like this is like it's like the knowledge of the earth. It's just like it's like Akashic record type stuff. It's insane. It's just perfect clear cognizance, and they can hold space too. Like once you're done creating those medicines, you can place into them those thought forms, the kind of medicine you want to impart onto whatever it is that you're creating. Could be anything really. Like it could be like Sunny's crystal jujus. Her skulls could hold space for those. When she's like done making it, she can hold space with the skulls to impart a thought form onto them. And they just keep going because they're crystal, right? You put a thought form, and because that they're in the human shape, when we think, our thoughts become like an external thing. So like this kind of hyper focuses that. It allows them to hold space over long periods of time without necessarily needing to constantly, add or feed the grid, if you know what I mean. It's really interesting that way. Also, accessing past lives and things like that, like on down your ancestral line, like seeing lives of your ancestors. Like if you really go like deep into meditation, you can see some really insane, incredible stuff. You can do the same too if you're not the kind of person that likes to meditate with your eyes closed and that kind of thing. Because, like, for me, I find it might be hard to focus. If you get a quartz skull or a really black obsidian skull, or like a reflective surface, kind of like an obsidian mirror, but you can do it with a black crystal skull as well. You could scry into the clear quartz skull, just kind of get lost almost like in a daydream, like when you look at the clouds, and you'll receive all these kinds of like information. Like it's really easy. It facilitates that. How about you, Sunny?
What was the question again? What do I learn from the crystal skulls? Or
What kind of metaphysical or what you've learned, what kind of metaphysical properties have you experienced personally with the skulls?
Well, with the skulls that I've had stick around with me, because I've had skulls and I've also given them away. I've also had like ET skulls and I've also given them away. But with the skulls that I have around me, again, they're like all Italian. They're all my ancestors. So for me, they're very protective. And like if I know some, like for example, Agatha is actually like a historical person, a saint. So I've learned like things from her life, like lessons from her life. For example, like definitely very healing for like sexual trauma and really personal trauma, relationships, learning how to be more vulnerable, learning how to merge with somebody like in a healthy way, not being taken advantage of by the opposite gender. But then also I have a lot of the male energy around me too. It's like the protective father, grandfather, like uncle energy that would never do you any harm. So it's like learning how to feel safe being in my body, because that's one of the issues that I have. Learning how to be okay with being here and having my ancestors' protection and guidance like over me, and I'm like really connected to my ancestors. So it makes sense that these skulls are just like telling me that their names are like these different Italian and specifically like Sicilian names. So yeah. I also have a new pink skull. I have two new skulls actually. They're so little. Oh no, where did you go?
So, like, in summary, they're basically holding space for your healing and
Yes.
working like deeply and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yes, they're very protected. Okay, this one skull literally just flew out of my hand, and he's really small. But his name is Tony, and he's a little blue topaz skull. I don't know where it happened.
I love
got
that.
like all the. Oh, sorry, Tamara.
What?
They've got no. Go ahead. You were saying.
I was going to say it's like you've got all the Sopranos characters as crystal skulls.
I love that.
Tony will definitely protect me. Yeah, I don't know. He just flew away, and it's dark in here, so I'm not gonna find him. He doesn't want to be on camera, I guess. And then this is a Morganite skull. She's small. This is Lucia.
So cute.
Morganite is such a gentle yet powerful stone. I love Morganite.
Yeah.
I love all barrels.
I've noticed too that they really open up our psychic abilities, like to the point, we're always like thinking in our heads. We always have that voice in our heads, but sometimes, that psychic ability of not just physically hearing spirit or, physically seeing spirit, but you can actually, I noticed with the skulls, you can hear them, that clairaudience can turn on the clairaudience, really enhance our psychic abilities, which is our natural state of being, right? Like, as you were saying, Tamara, that connection to Mother Earth, they bring in that natural state of being, which is that mind, body, spirit connection, right?
It's like a reflection of what we could be, our crystalline selves, our highest point of being, what we could be. And that's how it can be a reflection. That's why it is a reflection of us. And for names, sometimes the names can be a little interesting. Like, it's not always, sometimes they just have normal names. Like, for example, this one, I named it Song, like, because for me, I've had a lot of experiences with frequency, doing tones. There's a lot of interesting things that this skull has taught me about sound. So her name is Song. Sometimes you name your skulls just like that through the experience, and you give them a name. And some other skulls, it's just like a weird sound, kind of like how Sunny described. Like, you're just taking a walk and you just kind of hear this freaking noise in your head, and it's like, huh? And you kind of sound it out, and it's like, huh, okay. And sometimes the name can translate into what the skull or the spirit that is inhabiting the skull wants to help you with. Like, for example, this one was named Doomy, but like with like a U with those two little dots or whatever. And it means judgment. which is really interesting. So it's like and it's Arfedsonite skull. So it's like meant for protection, for being discerning, for almost like a careful what you wish for, punchy manifestation type of stone. So like it was basically a lesson in learning how to hone in and focus on like what specific path you want to be on, which I'm like still kind of struggling with.
Mm.
Like I feel like this, I'm channeling this right now from this. Yeah, I don't want to hear this right now, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's what the skull's good for. And sometimes the name can like lead you there. Like for example, Sakani. I was at the pond and I heard Saka, Sakani, Saka. And then I ended up finding out, I forget which part of Africa, but the name meant people laughing on the rocks. And I thought that was really interesting. And I always felt that this skull was like really good for like jovial experiences. Like last time I was hanging out with Sunny, we were like hanging out in the pond and like this skull was like in the pond infusing the water. That's another thing too. You can bring your skulls to bodies of water and infuse the waters with like healing and like
Mhm.
land activation, and you're basically making like a gigantic gem elixir. It's amazing. You can work with the land
Mm.
that way. um and yeah, she imparted joy on that day, and I thought that was really interesting because her name was like people laughing on the rocks, and we were people laughing on the rocks that day. So yeah, it's interesting. They'll just tell you what they want, really. It's like a really
That's
easy, it's an easier way to work with crystals because like you could still do this with regular faceless crystals. This is
mhm.
just a way to just bust that door open. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
Yeah, for sure. And it's interesting, Tamara, earlier you touched on the legend of the crystal skulls. Do you think that there's something that's like BS about that or weird about that? What are your feelings about that?
I feel like the 13 exist, but not in 3D at this moment, at this time. I feel like they used to, like during the times of like Atlantis and things like this, they were in the 3D, and like they were doing all these things because like that's why they're still in our consciousness. That's why we're still driven to create and connect with these sorts of tools. Um, and in psychic information, they were also like space holders for ceremony, even generators, like to help power like the spiritual space of temples in Atlantis and things like that to communicate with one another. So like you could, you know, set an intention with one skull, and then another skull would receive this information, and you would download it claircognizantly, things like this. Um, so yeah, they definitely exist, just not right now.
Mm.
Time is circular. They exist, but just like not right now.
That's so weird.
Right. And like one of the things I've learned from crystals is everything is connected and everything is one. So even though there's so many different crystal skulls that have been made and engraved all over the world, we can connect to those 13 by any of the skulls that we have personally as well with that intention. So like you're saying, they don't necessarily have to be physical for us to be connecting with them, right?
No,
Sunny, what
yeah,
do
that's
you think about the 13 legend of the crystal skulls?
Well, first, before I forget, I want to say too, when we were talking about what the crystal skulls do, and we were talking about how it can help us like go to our highest version or manifest our highest version. Yeah, crystal skulls are really good for manifesting things for yourself
Mhm.
because you can use the skull as a representation of you. So if you would put the skull in the middle of a grid with other crystals with the intention of whatever it is you're trying to manifest, like you just visualize that skull as you like look at it as a mirror. But anyways, I honestly I haven't really thought a lot about like the specific 13 skulls from Atlantis. Like I just know that there was crystal skulls that people were using for ceremony, just the way that we use them now, basically. Um, and I love that Tamara said that time was cyclical. I can't even say the word. Cyclical.
time is a circle. It's a circle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because I had that like really big like knowing and that really big like full body physical feeling when I was in Sicily and I was at the Valley of the Temples and I was looking at them. I'm like, this is actually the future. This isn't the past. I'm like, all these temples are being created in the future. Like, I don't know how to explain it. I feel I'm like, we're living in the past. And then when AI came out, I had like that feeling. Well, not came out, but when we were introduced to AI the past few years in Chat GPT and stuff, I had that feeling again. And then I was thinking about like different historical websites or like Wikipedia and stuff like that. And I know Wikipedia is like people typing on it, but also probably a lot of the information is probably written by AI or whatever. And I'm like, okay, all of this already existed. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like we already have, I don't know. It's
But
cyclical.
that's why I believe
Exactly.
like when you if you choose to come back to have another life on this planet in the 3D, it doesn't necessarily have to be after this decade. It could be
Yeah.
like sometime in the past, could be like way in the
Mhm.
future, because it doesn't really matter where you land on it. It's just about where you choose to experience and how you choose to experience it, what your soul needs to do, and what healing and medicine it needs to learn in that time, right? So
Yeah, I actually feel like we're living like more primitively than like Atlanteans for sure.
my husband says that all the time. Yeah.
Like
Yep.
this is not normal. This doesn't feel good. Like most people are unhappy with the circumstance. Obviously,
Mhm.
there's so many control issues and like freedoms taken away. Everything is like kind of bland and boring. All the color's been taken away. So this is not.
Yeah.
We're all on our
The
computers and
the
whatever.
grayification of everything.
Yeah,
That's it's
like
so tragic. I cannot stand that, honestly. Like I remember when I went to Central America, and the one thing I noticed immediately was the colors of all the houses. Like, why aren't our houses like blue, green, purple, yellow, orange? Like, why can't we have that?
I don't know.
Seriously.
It's
Yeah.
funny because yeah, if we were like in Atlantean times right now, we would be in a temple together with our crystal skulls having this discussion or telepathically like putting all this information into the skulls and broadcasting it through the skulls to
Mhm.
the entire planet, and then whoever picks up a skull would like download it from the three, Scorpio oracles.
I have a feeling a lot of this, like I'm just getting this right now. Like a lot of this was done in dream state. Like kind of like through dreams, like astral travel, like lucid dreaming type of situations. Like you would meet each other there, and that's how you would communicate. Like with the crystal skulls would like kind of facilitate that. So
Mhm.
Wow. That's so cool. And
That's why I
that's
like sleeping with crystals too.
yeah.
yeah. And it's funny you're saying, Sunny, you're mentioning the wisdom being passed on in the crystals because when oh my God, what was that crystal called? It's modern day called the Crystal of Doom, but it has another name. I know
The
one of
Mitchell
them is
Hedges,
Max, the Mitchell Hedges or
Mitchell
Hodges?
Hedges crystal skull.
Mitchell Hedges Crystal Skull. So they called it the Crystal of Doom, but didn't it have another name, Tamara? It had an actual name that it wanted to be called. I'm
Mm.
forgetting what that is.
I forget what it was, but it was like
But
something to do with
yeah,
love.
but anyways, yeah. So a lot of people say that that whole thing was made up and they didn't actually find it in the Mayan ruins, which when I was listening to that, I kind of thought like, okay, I feel like that might be made up by the powers that be because maybe there is one or two or a few of these actual physical skulls here, possibly, and maybe the other ones are not in this dimension yet. But
It's
the
the kind
people
of power
who
that that they wouldn't want us to kind of access at this time. Like
exactly,
it's best to be hidden, sort of thing. I mean, honestly, I feel like the planet, like they'll come up when I feel like we're ready to have this type of communication, because at the moment we're just not vibrating at a high enough level for them to present themselves to us, if that makes any
mhm.
sense.
Yeah, and they're so powerful. And when that one was found, the Crystal of Doom,
Mm.
the Mayans said that part of the medicine of it is that the elders would put their wisdom into the skulls, so that then that could be. They're almost like computers. They're almost like books. They're like
Yes, you could
storage
pass them
spaces.
down.
You
Yeah.
literally pass them down, and I get chills as I say that. So they have a lot of powerful medicine to them, for sure.
And that's how I feel like when I mentioned activating them, they store that, right? Like when you get them to watch things, it's like something about the eyes. Like a lot of things I've learned from skulls too is like how to use our own skeleton in our own form for healing. And
Mhm.
there's a lot of power in our gaze. Like there's so much power in like how you look at something. Like in so many cultures, the evil eye is such a big deal. Like the you can heal with your gaze. Like that's another thing you can like that I've learned with crystal skulls, and you can get them to like watch things and record all kinds of things so that you can come home later and use that medicine if somebody needs it, or things like that. They really are computers that way. Yeah.
Wow,
It's
that's
like our
so
brain
cool.
and our memory.
Yeah.
It's again a
Mhm.
representation of yourself and who you are. Like our skulls is a was like that's our
Shape
skeleton.
resonance.
When
Yeah.
we die, you'll see the skeleton in the ground, but that skeleton was a person that had like a whole life and a whole bunch of memories, and you can connect to like the soul of them, I guess, in that way. Or it's like the crystal skull, you can connect to whatever that crystal skull has to to teach you if it's housing a soul, or like Tamara said, you can use it to, you know, record your own stuff or integrate your own stuff, or pick up things from different sacred sites and whatnot.
Super
And it's
versatile, yeah.
so all Tamara's grandkids or whoever she's gonna give her skulls to eventually, whoever inherits her skulls, they're all gonna learn all of that, and it's gonna hold all that storage plus more. So
Wow.
I would like to pass it on to, I feel like, some up and coming other healers, like just other caretakers. I don't want it to go all or just one person. Just like eventually they'll eventually find new people when it's my time to leave this planet, right?
Yeah.
So
how many skulls do you have right now,
I was
Tamara?
gonna ask that too.
Yeah.
Let me see. Let me think. So okay, so there's that one. Oh, yeah. Ansho, Muhyo, Shenzu, Ikuyo, Shola, Benedine, Olimar, Henry. So that's 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 skulls.
Wow. That's so cool. That's so freaking cool. And this time of year, we're filming this. It's the start of Scorpio season 2025. And of course, skulls ruled by the sign of Scorpio. We all happen to be Scorpios up in here. What kind of things do you Scorpio ladies like to do this time of year to celebrate Samhain, Halloween, which is not an evil holiday? Right?
Absolutely not. No.
Which everybody has, you know, freedom. Everybody have their own thoughts, beliefs. I'm all for that. But like you said, Tamara, right before we got started, you were like, Meg, doesn't that have to do with like your ancestry? Like if you're British or Celtic, or not even that, like even the Mexicans with the Day of the Dead, many of our ancestors celebrated this time of year as the thinning of the, like a very sacred frickin' time. It's not an evil frickin' time. Do you ladies want to speak on that?
Yeah, it's
yeah, go ahead.
It's following
go
the
ahead, go ahead.
It's just following the natural cycles of the earth and the natural time. And you know, if you weren't born yesterday, you know that in the fall or in the autumn time after the equinox, things start to die and the sun goes to sleep earlier in the northern hemisphere. And yeah, it's just a feeling. It's just a feeling. Things are getting darker when the moon's out, when things are darker, we all know that it's easier to connect to what we don't see, like the spiritual realm. And so it's not just the moon that's out. So it's not just the moon that's like reflecting all the hidden truths and the secrets of reality and everyday life. It's now that, yeah, the moon's out, but also it's dark for longer. So it's just like, and everything's dying and getting ready to go to sleep. So it's just a representation of, death and rebirth. So just like in the spring equinox, everything starts to wake up. And that's when we connect to, you know, life and like fairies or plants, or we start planting our seeds and whatnot. Halloween time, it's just, or Samhain time, you just feel the veils thinning and everything feels a little bit more magical. And
it does.
It just, the energy is the subtle energies, the psychic energies, the secrets, what's hidden usually is just stronger because it's just nighttime. It's that duality. It's that shadow. We're in the shadow.
It's also because we associate the unknown with death, right? Because once we die, we don't have this 3D consciousness anymore. So we can't bring back memories of how it went with us to report back, right? So, and because everything around us is dying in fall, to experience that cycle of rebirth, people are uncomfortable facing their own mortality because to be born is to die. And that's beautiful. We're just here to experience something. And it's the fact that that's the reason people see like, oh, skulls are evil. It's because they're afraid to face their own mortality. And they remind you, like, you know, life is precious. We're here to make the most of it. We have to make of it what we can, you know, to receive the medicine of this lifetime. And that makes people uncomfortable, right? So how I celebrate Samhain is that I normally have like a supper. I invite my ancestors to come eat. I'll make their favorite foods of what I know they would be eating. I'll dress up nicely and I'll light a few candles and I'll eat quietly with them. Sometimes I'll have a few laughs, maybe a glass of wine.
Love it. Yeah, that's what I like to do too, is really connect to the physical and the spiritual ancestors. And I'll actually be doing it this weekend, making an ancestors altar, putting their little favorite drinks, their little favorite treats, pictures of me with them or them if they're ancestors that I never met. And it's a very special time of spiritual guidance, like doing divination, doing magical practices. And something I hear from people as well that are really uncomfortable with Samhain and Halloween is they'll say, "Oh, well, that's when, the dark side does all their bad rituals. That's
They're
why
doing
it's
it
evil."
all the time.
Okay, there's
I was
literally
gonna say it's
rituals.
all season.
You girls got me, okay? There's literally rituals being done to us every moment of every day through
And there's
literally
multiple
everything.
sacred days. It's just scary
Yes.
to them because they're physically seeing like dark and scary
faced with
faces.
mortality, so it's
Funny
amplified,
because
right?
it's
Yeah.
funny because the scary faces, the things that you think that are bad and the faces of death are actually protecting you from the evil. Because
Yep.
when let's say some evil dark wizard witch reptilian or whatever is releasing whatever the f they want from their own psychotic intention, those things are walking among you because
Yep.
the veils are thinner. If you have like skulls, if you have jack-o'-lanterns, if you have anything like spooky around you, it's less likely for those things to come into you and infiltrate you. Why are all like the most famous exorcism stories with people who are like highly innocent and highly like, and I'm not saying that they're bad or that they were evil or they had it coming to them or anything, but they didn't have like, most of those people probably
Protection.
didn't have like
Yep.
skulls or like scary looking things around them. They didn't have that extra protection during that time. The demons are like, oh, I'm going over there. Whereas
Mhm.
it's kind of weird. It's, I don't know what the word is. It's like counteractive, not counteractive. It's like
Camouflage.
yeah, camouflage thing.
Yep.
So I'm not saying that skulls are evil, but I mean, we live in duality. There's light and there's dark, and there's no way around that. Like the sun comes up every day and then the moon comes up and then it's freaking dark. Okay. Like, hello, not everything that you're experiencing is happy. Are you happy all the time?
Yeah.
No. Do you close your eyes when and it's all black? Yes. So it's like it's like a disguise. Yeah, it's a disguise. It's to actually protect you from
My
things.
theory is that it's
Mhm.
not necessarily a disguise, more so is that it's making it known that you are aware of the other side. You are
Yes.
aware of these darkness, you're aware of these things, and because you're aware, you are prepared. Because to be
Yeah.
Yes.
aware is to understand these kinds of things, and therefore you're less likely to attack something that is prepared and aware. You're gonna
Yeah.
want somebody who has no idea about these kinds of things. You know what I mean? The
Exactly.
innocent
'Cause they
white
can't protect themselves.
lamb.
They can't
Mhm.
protect themselves. And it's scary. And yeah, it makes me think of when I used to play with like Ouija boards. I was like obsessed with Ouija boards and I had like really messed up experiences every night. And I guess because I'm just like a naturally psychically strong person because I'm a Scorpio with like a million fucking things in Scorpio and I love Halloween and I love everything dark and scary for my whole life. Um Whenever these things tried to like they would try and I would just be like no and like
Yep.
would just face them head on and like they can't do anything because they literally can't do anything unless you allow them or if you're like afraid of them. Of course I was scared but like I knew that my spirit was like way too strong for them to penetrate it.
Mhm.
So yeah, some
Facing
people
it
don't.
head on.
Yeah.
Exactly what you just said, Sunny, facing it head on and being conscious of the fact that we are living in a realm with light and dark and duality. And like you said, not everything is light and fairy cakes. It's that natural time of the year in the northern hemisphere, and the southern hemisphere also has their Samhain, which is for us when we have our spring, right? Of like you guys said, we're going through a death. Nature is dying. We're going into the winter. It's a time to reflect. It's a time to prepare. And it's uncomfortable, right? Because it feels good to have the light. It feels good to be in the summer, but it's the natural process of the
Is Tamara
cycles.
frozen?
Oh, is she? Vera, are you there? Are
I
you
don't,
with us?
I don't think so.
Oh my God. Okay, wait, let's pause for a sec. Back. We just had a little bit of a technical issue. Interesting, because we're talking about something really important. Were you about to say something, Tamara, or Sunny? Were you were saying something before we just?
I was just.
Also, yeah, I like
She
to
was
go to
saying that stuff was attacking her, like you need to have protection, and she was having weird experiences with like Ouija boards and stuff like
With the
that. And
okay,
like,
got it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
well, I brought that upon myself, but and honestly, like sometimes I still have fantasies of doing Ouija boards, even though like I know that I'm opening a portal to something evil. I just like I don't know, it's like an adrenaline thing. It's just like I want to see what happens. I know what's gonna happen. I know what's gonna happen. I don't want to
Yeah.
really like
See,
the
like even when you're having like, let's say a supper with your ancestors or something like that, you still need to like make sure you're like putting up protection to make sure you're calling in who you're actually meaning to call in, because that's another thing. Like
Mm,
just because you're doing this kind of thing, like I might make it look light and airy fairy, like, oh, it's such good medicine and it's so nice, but you still need to like, make sure you're not playing around and stuff like that. And skulls can actually help you with that. You can set an intention. If you have like 4 or more, you can set them facing outwards around you and set the intention of protection on top of what you're already doing for protection. But they could just be like placeholders. Like they could watch for you, and like they're interesting. They're good for that. They'll stay there for you.
I
I
think
love that.
that's what a lot of people who are saying that this is evil or whatever are afraid of, is that they don't know what you're contacting unless it's like in the name of Jesus Christ, which is totally fine.
Mm,
But they see Jesus as like the ultimate protector and the ultimate light bringer, and which I agree with. But yeah, they don't understand like what you're connecting to, because they're like, oh, you could be connecting to anything. It's like, okay, I get that, but my intention is to connect to like a certain spirit, a certain ancestor, a certain god or goddess, which again they might not be into. But yeah, I think that's what scares people, because they also they probably don't have like enough, unless they do, I don't want to speak for everybody, have like enough occult knowledge to back up like their fears, I guess, or to clear their fears about who you're contacting when you're talking about like ancestors, or when you're doing tarot or whatever.
mhm.
Like who is the spirit behind the information that's coming through. And usually sometimes it's just me channeling the highest absolute energy that I can, which is just God and the creator.
Or if you
Exactly.
call on like spirits of the land, even it just depends on your intention. And I feel like what see another thing. It's going to sound kind of dark, but I like it. Tis the season of darkness anyway. And even in Catholicism and Christianity, it is said that mankind, has power with his word over like lower aspects, over all the spirits and like the demons and stuff like that. We have the power to command these things. We actually have the power. I feel like I forget which high ceremonial magic this was. I think it was like Kabbalah. I'm. This isn't my branch of whatever, but you can command and call upon angels and stuff like that. And there's like strict regimens and stuff like that you could do to actually like call upon those really scary angels. We have that power, and people should not underestimate that power.
Mm-hmm.
Say what you mean to say with conviction, and that's all you really need, of course. Like you just have to make sure. And of course, you don't make sure your energies are clean. Maybe like take a salt bath before or something like
Exactly.
that.
Yeah, protection is super, super important. Anything else you guys want to share before we finish up? We're almost at the hour mark. Time goes by
Yeah,
so fast.
Yeah,
it
I
really
just want to
does.
say that like, just because when Tamara, you said like this might sound dark, but just because something is dark doesn't necessarily mean it's evil. It's our shadow, and there's a lot of healing that comes from there. You can heal from the shadow, like for even like, I don't want to expose you, Tamara, or anything, but I remember you were telling me you did like a protection spell for yourself, and sometimes protection spells are not like light. Sometimes you need the black candle. Sometimes you need to do something that, not that you harmed anybody or you're putting harm towards anybody, but it's like bringing in that like really deep like earth magic, that inside the earth, what's inside the earth, it's dark in there, so bringing that up to protect yourself, like
Mhm.
darkness is actually a form of protection. So,
Yeah.
Oh
and
yeah,
also the
especially
good
when
thing about
you work with like
crystals
the
too,
dark goddesses.
yeah,
Yeah.
all the dark crystals are the ones that protect you and ground you the most. So
Yeah. My journey with dark goddesses of the earth, like Hecate and things like that, have saved me from many interesting paths in life. Like I've been through many things, and like honestly, it's through darkness that you find healing. You have to go
Mhm.
through it.
well, it's easy for us to say because we're all Scorpios, and that's another thing I wanted to say too.
That's so true. Yeah.
Maybe what we're saying doesn't resonate with everybody, and not everybody is carrying the Scorpio medicine. Like I remember I was listening to an astrologer talking about Venus and Scorpio, and it kind of like put things into perspective for me, because I'm like really intense and I want to know everybody's secrets, and I want to, like, the person that I'm with, I want to know everything about them. I want to strip them down naked to their freaking skeleton, and I want to talk about the things that make people really uncomfortable. I want to talk about all your secrets. I want to go there. And it's like she was saying, not everybody wants to do that. Not everybody is comfortable with that. Not
Mhm.
everybody likes that. And not everybody is necessarily going to benefit from that. So it's like,
Yeah.
it just depends on your personality. It's like how all medicine doesn't work for everybody. It's not like
Mhm.
Yeah. So when the doctor prescribes one thing for everybody, it's like, okay, well, that doesn't work for me. So just, yeah, we might resonate with some and we might not resonate with others, and that's okay. I feel comfortable in dark colors. I feel comfortable surrounded by dark colors. I feel comfortable with dark things. I feel comfortable listening to punk rock or metal music. I feel comfortable watching scary movies. I like it. I feel comfortable in cemeteries. That's something that I love to do during this time too.
I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, I've been fully nocturnal actually now for 2 years, night shift.
Oh yeah,
So
she's nocturnal. It's true. You're an owl.
I'm actually nocturnal. So darkness. The moon is my sun, indeed. Um, but yeah, for this season, it'll help, especially navigating through this time because we're moving into the age of Aquarius. If you
Mhm.
have a small crystal skull, you can put it in like a medicine bag around your neck, or you could just carry one around you, and it will help remind you that this is where we're heading. Like this is what you're supposed to be reflecting. It could serve as like a little psychopomp, like a little placeholder, a reminder that this is who we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be crystalline, right? Let us reflect that. Let us always embody love. You know, everything exists only because of love. The trees spread pollen because they want to reproduce because they love each other. The flowers have color because they wish to be pollinated so they can reproduce because they love. That everything exists because of love. You, me, we all exist even if our parents don't love each other anymore. Once upon a time, they loved each other even in for that moment. We are
Yeah.
here because of love. Everything is to do with that. And the skulls can help you embody that. It can help you remember. We are here to embody that crystalline being, just love. Sometimes it could be tough though. Tough love is a thing, but
Mhm.
still with love.
I'm the queen of tough love.
Yeah, well, thank you guys so much for this amazing, very informative video, The Secrets of Crystal Skulls. And we also got into a bunch of other things. Tamara, is there any links, anything you'd like to shout out for yourself?
I have a YouTube channel. It's just Saffron on YouTube. I'm not really active there. Maybe I will be. I don't know. We'll see. I'm kind of a hermit. This is like the first time I've even like appeared in person over online. I have an Instagram as well. It's the Saffron Veil on Instagram. I'm not active really on there either. But if you want to come give me a follow, you can. Like, why not? Welcome. I'll respond to comments and video suggestions if there's something you guys want to see me create over on my channel. It's going to be all unedited, organic, me and the camera type of videos. So if you guys have any kind of suggestions of what you'd want to see coming out of me, especially to do with crystal skulls or animism or witchcraft and connecting to the land, I'm your woman. So yeah.
Tamara's really good at doing spells.
Yeah, there's that too.
She should offer spells to people, but we'll see.
Maybe someday.
Yeah.
Well, I'll put those links in the description box of this video, Tamara. And I just want to say thank you so much for joining us. And I know you're very you've been in the hermit mode, and I'm really, really appreciative that you've shared your wisdom with us because you're fucking amazing at what you do. So I'm gonna listen to this video over and over again because there was so much that you shared that was absolutely amazing. And thank you for what you do holding the space for the crystals as well, because I do think this is something really important that is being done on the planet with these crystal skulls. And
Thank you so much.
yes, for sure. And speaking of crystal skulls, Sunny, what do we have going on the Scorpling shop?
The Scorpio season collection is here.
Yay!
And we have a lot of ancestors waiting for you and Scorpio themed Christies.
Yeah, there's a lot of
facilitate the transformation. Get some crystals.
Yeah, so you guys, we have our new Scorpio season crystal collection over at the Scorpling shop available. The link will be in the description box of this video. There are black Shiva lingams, different kinds of quartz, topaz, crystal skulls, pendants, juju, handmade by Sunny, and even some black obsidian scrying mirrors. Really freaking cool. So all very helpful allies for us to work with this very powerful Scorpio season, which I didn't even mention to you guys yet. You ladies may already be aware of this, but this Scorpio season is our first Scorpio season of our lives with Pluto in Aquarius.
Exactly.
So
yes.
Pluto, our modern day ruler, we've been going through the past 15 years, Pluto and Capricorn, ruling the Scorpio seasons. Now Pluto is in Aquarius and also out of bounds, technical term, meaning astrologically that it's very unpredictable, it's very wild. It's going to bring a lot of change and innovation. So this is a very powerful Scorpio season for transformation, healing, letting go of what no longer serves you. And the crystals are definitely big allies for that, for sure.
Taking healthy risks.
Yeah, for sure. Well, ladies, let's do this again sooner rather than later.
Scorpio party.
Scorpio
Yes,
party.
it was an honor for sure. I enjoyed it. That's definitely, yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. And we're wishing you all a very magical Scorpio season out there and transition
Samhain.
into the age of Aquarius.
And happy
Happy
birthday to all the Scorpios.
Yes, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Solar Returns. Yay. We love you all very much and have a magical rest of your day. Thank you, ladies. Bye.
Bye.